Channel 2 Action News investigation discovered companies that shuttle thousands of sick and elderly Georgians to doctor's appointments every day are exempt from federal safety rules. Channel 2's investigative reporter Aaron Diamond found one risky ride had catastrophic consequences. Aaron joins us live from Henry County.
This all started with a transport van carrying a wheelchair-bound woman that came to a stop so fast and suddenly that it sent her flying. When she died, her family filed a lawsuit that tipped us off to what some are calling a dangerous legal loophole. This is the only picture of Sylvia Mornay her daughter Sharon Bright has left.
It's just something that you can't imagine.
In 2010, Mornay suffered critical injuries when the driver of a non-emergency transport van taking her to a doctor's appointment suddenly slammed on the brakes in Midtown Atlanta. The driver hadn't properly secured Mornay's wheelchair. She got thrown to the floor and died 3 months later.
It's, to me, almost like a Shakespearean play.
Well, Sylvia Mornay was born and raised here in New Orleans. She came to Atlanta as an evacuee from Hurricane Katrina, where rising floodwaters reached nearly the roof of her home. From her rebuilt New Orleans home, Bright filed a wrongful death suit against Southeast Trans, the College Park company contracted by the Georgia Department of Community Health to transport hundreds of thousands of Georgia Medicaid patients every year.
It was just a horrible, horrible thing to experience.
Right now, the state pays Southeast Trans more than $30 million a year. The company has its own small fleet of vans and drivers, but 99% of the 1.5 million rides it gives each year are done by dozens of subcontractors, like the one that drove Sylvia Mornay, dispatched through Southeast Trans' in-house call center.
This industry affects the most frail of our population.
That's Bright's lawyer, Fred Burkey. He and Bright already sued and settled with the subcontractor. They believe Southeast Trans is also liable for Mornay's death. The main reason?
The industry is not following safety rules, and they should be.
Southeast Trans' thick contract with the state does include a long list of mandatory safety standards for drivers and vehicles the company is supposed to enforce.
Ultimately, the state sets the standards, and we follow those standards.
We asked DCH who's making sure.
When we go out and do our inspections on that, or our contractor, we look for that documentation.
I mean, how often are you in there auditing?
We go out as often as we'd like.
Okay, but how often?
Multiple times in a year. It kind of just depends.
At the heart of Bright's negligence claim, Southeast Trans and its subcontractors don't have to follow super strict federal motor carrier safety standards. Under Georgia law, companies that operate vehicles capable of carrying 10 or fewer people to medical appointments are exempt.
Well, I think the industry is seeking to exploit a loophole.
Burkey argues the federal safety rules should apply because many of Southeast Trans and its subs vans are capable of carrying 12 to 15 people, but have been retrofitted to accommodate bulky wheelchairs. When we pressed this Southeast Trans exec about the exemption, he was adamant.
We don't write the rules, so if the state were to change that, then we would certainly do our part to comply with the regulation.
Until then, Sharon Bright hopes her lawsuit, win or lose, serves as a spotlight.
For me, it would mean that my mom's death was not in vain.
Well, 2 months ago, we filed an open records request with the state for all of the incident reports Southeast Trans filed with the state for the last 5 years. As of today, we've received about 150 and are still in the process of reviewing all of those. But the state says that there are still many more to come. They called our open records request voluminous. As soon as we get all of the documents, we'll continue to go through them and let you know what we find. We're live in Henry County. Aaron Diamond, Channel 2 Action News.